Hey there guys and gals, you know who it is. Apologies for not uploading, I had exams. Still have exams, but that's not why you're here. I've split up all of the information we know about Just Cause 4 into sections. The timestamps will be down in the description below. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We'll get the more general news out of the way first. So, the Apex engine has allegedly solved the performance issues we had from Just Cause 3. Some people who didn't have very powerful computers, and even some of the consoles, weren't able to run it at full speed, especially when there were a lot of explosions going on. There is no open beta available, but they did sort of seem open to the idea about it. And they're still unsure about if they want to add a photo mode. I guess that's just one of the extra features that'd be nice to have if they have extra time. We have some preliminary specs for the game. For a processor, the minimum is an i5-2400 or an FX6300, 8 gigs of memory, and either a GTX 760 or an R9-270. The recommended specs is an i7-4770 or a Ryzen 5 1600, 16 gigs of memory, and either a GTX 1070 or a Vega 56. And the game, as of right now, it is 59 gigs. Now onto gameplay. There's a front line where the Black Hand and the Rebels are constantly fighting. You can anchor yourself to vehicles or the ground if you have your parachute out, which is useful if you're getting blown away in the tornado. Explosion distance seems to have been drastically increased compared to Just Cause 3. We do have confirmation that the Rebel drop system returns. Yellow weather balloons you might have seen in some trailers indicate updrafts. The team at Avalanche made sure there's variety with everything, from biomes to vehicles to weapons. Each biome has 2 to 3 sub-biomes inside it. Omar confirmed that they are not going to add a mini-map. His quote was, "I know why you want it, I believe we've fixed it." And he also said, "I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of the Mile High Club in Just Cause 4. He also mentioned there's a variety of bridges that you can destroy, and that they've doubled at least the amount of destructible objects in the game when compared to Just Cause 3. Every time you destroy something, it gives you chaos, and that chaos fits into another system. Chaos basically becomes notoriety. Apparently in this game, you're building an army to fight the Black Hand. Enemy bases are equipped with devices that essentially act as extreme weather repellers. And we do have another unconfirmed little piece that I noticed, that the reticle seems to change depending on what grapple customization option you currently have. Story time. So this game takes place 3 years after Just Cause 3, and this is the first time that a Just Cause series has had a narrative director, so hopefully the story is going to be more compelling than the last few games. The story has been confirmed to be slightly more serious and more of an action story, a little more complex than the other ones. The characters are believable and relatable and are apparently totally unexpected. They're trying to bring back the badass in Rico, and considering that in Just Cause 3 Rico was already pretty much a badass, it's going to be really interesting to see what the hell they do with that. They made sure the world justifies the non-linear story they've put into it, and they've put a lot of thought into each and every single town. I do remember on stream they were talking about how the ancient civilization that was initially living on Solis was pushed further inland by the colonists, so the beachfront towns and cities are more of that sort of style, whereas the ancient civilization building is going to be further inland. 500 years of this country is told apparently everywhere you go, and a lot of that comes from the ancient civilization. We did get word that the younger female rebel that Rico initially encounters, I can't remember her name, but it started like M or something. She's a rebel for all the reasons Rico never was, and apparently that gives a little bit of a really good dynamic in between them. And they try to give something new to discover around every corner of this game. And it's not as obvious as who the enemy is. And we got a lot of look into Gabriella as a person. She looks like she's part of a Black Hand, that's a quote. She's very confident in herself, and she believes that Rico is part of the group that killed her mother, and that gives her a lot of motivation as to wanting to absolutely destroy Rico. But further into the story, she apparently doesn't quite believe in herself as much as she did. So maybe there's some really big revelation that maybe Rico and Gabriella are brother and sister, who knows? And she's 6'2", and just like Rico, she's also larger than life. So for the map, there are 4 distinct biomes: the grasslands, which has the tornado, the rainforest, which has the lightning storm, the desert, which has the sandstorm, and alpine, which has the blizzard. The entire total map size is the same size as Medici, however the terrain size is a lot bigger than Medici. There's way more building variety, and everything from the ground to the clouds is volumetric. They have confirmed that along with the volumetric ground, there is a cave system of some sort. And destructible bridges are definitely coming back. Some of them are constant, like for example, the Glorious Abyss, a null for the weather. Any extreme weather event is visible from a fair distance away, so you're not going to get surprised by anything unless you're really not paying attention. You can surf objects in the tornado, but you can lose your balance on those objects unless you're grappled to it, obviously. You can wingsuit into the tornado, and you can circle the tornado with your wingsuit for extra speed and extra height. There was brief mention about controlling the tornado, but there was 100% confirmation that they talked about weaponized lightning, so it looks like the Eden Spark will be returning. And there is a potential for the enemies to weaponize the weather against you. And a small note on the lightning storm, it strikes at the highest point near the center of the storm. You can fling chaos objects into the air and the lightning will strike it. And now for Skynet, enemies are much smarter and most AI will try to escape the extreme weather. And they try to vary things a little more by making there more events for civilians and AI. This is more something I just seem to notice, but the enemies seem to do more damage than in Just Cause 3. Some enemies have secondary actions, like for example the Cloaker can go invisible, and there is a new enemy that seems to drop grenades when you kill him, and Avalanche has done proper facial scanning of real people to add them into the game, so you can go around and kill Omar if you'd like. Now for the grappling hook, there's at least 10 tethers, and the upper limit hasn't been set yet, but they did mention they wanted there to be at least twice as many, so that's a maximum tether amount of 12. That took me a while to say, and a lot of text. Shut up. The grapple is incredibly customizable. You can adjust a lot. Hope you're ready for this. Thruster power, thruster duration, balloon height, whether the balloon follows your reticle, manually inflating the balloon, shooting the gas in the balloon, which point the balloon or thruster spawns at, and you can combine these as much as you want. That's the only known stuff about the balloon mod and the thrust mod. We know there's at least one more from IGN's article where they talk about a pulse mod. Just from the name, it sort of indicates that maybe you can grapple a vehicle and you press a button and it disables the vehicle. The grapple distance has been increased from Just Cause 3. That's just something I noticed. And some unconfirmed stuff now. You can switch grapple loadouts with a button, just inferring from the loadout section next to the grapple icon to the left on the screen. I sort of assume that to mean you can switch grapple loadouts. Onto vehicles, a lot of the vehicles from Just Cause 3 seem to be in Just Cause 4, however they have roughly doubled the amount of vehicles in Just Cause 4. So despite there being about 60 or 70 vehicles from Just Cause 3, there will be a total of about 140 in Just Cause 4. The vehicles are just as destructible as they've always been, and Nitrous definitely makes a comeback, however we have not seen Turbo Jump yet. Onto a couple of more interesting vehicles. There's been confirmation of a bulldozer, the Yellow Storm Chaser, which can't be picked up by the tornado, a cargo helicopter with a base similar to the cargo plane in Just Cause 3, a fighter jet with quad heat-seeking missiles, and two vehicles we've seen have a magnet, which has been confirmed to be able to pick stuff up. That's the construction crane and one of the cargo helicopters. And finally, the digital deluxe content includes the Black-handed Microjet, which can turn invisible, because why not? And finally, weapons. Most or all of the weapons will have an alternate fire. We've had conflicting reports because the marketing team from Square Enix has said most weapons, while Omar, who's a dev at Avalanche, has specified all weapons. So what I think is maybe currently they only have certain weapons have alternate fire. They've only a select few weapons have alternate fire, but they plan on making as many as they can with alternate fire, which to me sounds pretty good. And onto the more individual specified stuff. The shotgun range seems to have increased. There's a grenade launcher with burst fire as its alternate fire, an assault rifle which has an impact grenade, and the LMG which has the shield, and when the shield's down you can rotate at least 90 degrees left and at least 90 degrees right. The SMG also seems to have a grenade launcher. The weapon the Titan enemy is holding has been confirmed to be a Railgun that fires a mini drone as its alternate fire, and you can grapple to that mini drone to lift yourself off the ground if you need to. And the Golden Gear shotgun alternate fire is a Ricochet tracer round. There's a whole lot we know about this game and a whole lot we don't. So leave a comment on what your favourite feature is about Just Cause 4 so far, and what you'd like to see from this game. Subscribe for more content like this, and I'll be releasing videos as soon as new information is known about this game. I'm going to be tracking this very thoroughly. I hope you guys and gals have a good day. Peace.